And then if you put out.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt with Illinois Worknet, and we are having our CYEP Technical Assistance webinar. I've got a couple of agencies on the call. We'll check back later for attendance to see who else is here. I'm going to do a quick demonstration here of our new application for CYEP. This is in production. It is live, so you need to be aware of these changes. I'm just going to go through the whole application process as if I do not have an Illinois Worknet account. So I clicked No from the CYEP site, application site. And I hope this isn't indicative of how slow this is all going to go. There we go. And this is the first part. This is where I think a lot of the confusion happens with the applications, because I think that people are getting this part done and then they're not finishing the second part of the actual application. So oh, it's not going to match. Putting in some of the answers here for these questions. And we're going to give him a username. And we're going to, oh, we get to pick a password. So and then we have agree, save. Now this is what happens, I think, is that people are getting this and they think they're done, so they log off, but now they have to log back in with the username and password that they just created and then sign in, and then this takes them to the actual application. This page didn't change. There weren't any changes here. And then from here, we've got just a few little minor changes with some of the information that the agency wanted to collect. Yes, we live in Illinois. Yes, I'm authorized to work in the United States. I'm not currently in school. Do I have a high school equivalent? No. Would I be willing to go back to school? I'll say yes. But what we have now is we have a whole bunch of new options here. I'm going to grab a screenshot while we're here. Because I'm putting together a PowerPoint presentation for you guys that you can share with your students. So we're going to say, I ran away from home. I live in a high poverty area. I have a hard time with reading. I am at risk for not completing my education. I've been expelled or suspended from school. I've missed 9 or more unexcused days in the past 6 months. And then we have, I identify as LGBTQ or non-binary. I've been a victim of abuse. I've been a victim of bullying. I have instances, legal problems. So a lot of these bottom items are all new. It's information that most people are not proud to share, especially with like the family members or siblings that are incarcerated. So you may have to get some of these answers during your interview with them, and then you can go in and update the application. We're going to save and go to next page. Selector Provider, this is a big thing here. If you are making sure that your agency is being selected, I know I'm changing these things all the time for people. So I'm working, excuse me, somebody needs to mute their phone or their computer. Save and go to next page. This page.
Well, the easiest way. I'm sorry. What's your name?
What are your immediate employment goals, full-time, part-time, and then how often, how can you travel? When are you willing to work? This information is useful. They're not going to put in a whole lot, I don't think. I don't think they're going to write a novel. And then I don't believe there are any new reasons right here. And then again, some information. What's the heaviest load? There's a new item here. We're going to say 30 to 40. What's the longest amount of time you can stand up? Are you able to sit for long periods? Are you drug-free? A lot of times if a student is not interested in careers that require a drug test, they're not going to be able to stay on a job. So you might want to talk to them intensely about this answer here, depending on what they select. And then this is a new piece here. What work environments do you prefer? Let me grab a screenshot while I'm in here for this too. And then they can select what options they would like to do. Maybe they aren't sure. It might be something that you may need to go back and check with them about. Save and go to next page. Then we have, do you have a valid driver's license? Then the sex offender options, and the violent crimes. If they are not interested in a career that requires a background check, you need to have a conversation with them again, because many jobs these days require a background check. And they need to be able to explain things if they do have any of these issues. Continue to application. From their Illinois Worknet application, the information that was on it will fill in here. One of the things that they will need to have is they will need to have their social security number. Oh, sorry. This is a new one. The social media account for contact purposes. A lot of kids these days really only use Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. And so if you're trying to get a hold of them, you might need to have that handle for them. So you're not asking for their password, which is illegal, but you may need their @ handle. It's not telling you which one, but you'd have to ask them. And then you need to confirm the social security number, street address, and city, state. Zip code was already in there. What's the primary phone type? Do they have an alternate phone? Save and go to next page. What's their gender? This is a new answer option here. Male, female, non-binary. Prefer not to answer. The military status did not change. The marital status did not change. This is new. The ethnicity is asking whether they're Hispanic or Latino or non-Hispanic or Latino. And then the answers are the same here under the race. Then we have a primary language that's spoken. So we have English will be here. And then a secondary language, if they don't speak a secondary language, they can select none at the bottom. Don't select English for both of them. But if they speak any languages here, they want to have what their primary language is at the top, and then any secondary languages on the secondary. So that's new to this application. Save and go to next page. Highest level of education. This person was a high school junior. They don't have any other degrees. Save and go to next page. There were no changes if they did have any certificates. Have you had a job? No, there were no changes in here. Save and go to next page. Are you working with any of the service providers below? And what is not listed here specifically is SNAP. So if they are working with SNAP either independently or with their family, you would select this and then put SNAP in here. How did you hear about this program? Illinois Worknet, and maybe it was from their local DHS office or one of these other reasons. And then save and go to next page. Here's where another problem can happen with the application. They see this and they hit submit application, and then they don't hit the submit application a second time. So I'll show you that once we're done. If there's any changes that need to be made, this needs to be reviewed, and then you would click on the edit this section to make any changes. So edit this section, it takes you back to that section. You can make the change if you need to, and then save and return to preview. And then once they're done and they're happy with all of the information, then they submit the application. This is what needs to happen for the application to actually come to you. So if I hit submit application, what I want to show you first though is I want to go to the dashboard. So I'm, on this screen, I'm logged in as oh, I logged into the wrong program, sorry. All right, so on here we go to the Community Youth Employment Program, and we don't have an email system in place yet. We've got one application started, and then we've got 28, watch this number here, 28 application completed, submitted. When I go back to this and hit submit, this is the final step for the actual application. It takes you back to the customer's dashboard, and you can see, the customer can see what's going on. And if you notice right here, they can see their Worknet, their career plan that you will create with them. That's why the career plan is so crucial, that you use the career plan pieces to assign customers to steps so that they can see what's going on with their career plan. Now, if I go back to the dashboard and hit refresh, I will see the number 29 right here. So this is how you're going to be able to tell if a student has submitted their application properly. As long as they have selected your agency and have started the application, it will show up in this row, application started. If they have started it and selected your organization, you will see it, and they haven't finished it in 5 days, you will see it in this row. If they completed it and submitted it, you will see it in this row. So this is how you're going to keep track of applications that are in the system that you have to take action on. All right, are there any questions from our participants today on the webinar? So Regina, I had to mute you because you had another conversation going on. So do any of you have any questions? Okay, so now the next piece that I want to show you is from live. Where did that come from? I'm in live site information, and on here we've got the real dashboard. There are going to be some changes to the progress page, and I will be covering those next week on the webinar. We are going to have a webinar next week, and then maybe not on the 16th, and then on the 23rd. It depends on what other changes are happening with the beginning of the year. So on here, we have 427 applications that weren't completed. You will be able to check your dashboard to see how many you actually have in there, so that you don't, you're not going to see all of these numbers, but you still have time to correct last year's customers, but these numbers are going to start adding up for anybody that you add for this year. The other piece that I want to show you that you need to really pay attention to is the CYEP partner page. So that's Illinois Worknet /CYEP partners. And on here, I've added a couple of videos in the past couple of weeks. So if you have not taken a look at them, you need to do that under the partner training materials and videos. We have the tutorials, the how-tos, and then we have recordings from the webinars. And one of the pieces that I created, let me get this out to YouTube. Oops, I didn't want to do that. All right, I want to go to YouTube and I want to show you the playlist here. So we've got an entire playlist and things for you to watch and the directions that go along with it. I want to get to the playlist and I'm not getting there. Sorry, let me. All right, so from this playlist, sorry for all this bouncing around here. The newest ones that I have up on here is the CYEP adding an employer and customer for worksite placement. You need to watch that. I also added CYEP uploading subsidized payroll. You need to watch that. And then I added the CYEP customer flow start to finish. Those 3 videos are new. That looks like it'll take you a little bit over half an hour to watch all 3 of them. The instructions are also in the resource page here under the tab that says, all full list of resources. So you do need to check here to make sure that you're seeing the directions here. Also on here is the Illinois Worknet user management. I had asked at one point in time for someone from each organization to send me who it is that needs to have access to add or remove staff people from your organization. And I have not gotten any, I'll take that back. I've gotten 2 emails from people. But if you want to add users to your agency, you need to follow these instructions, and you or the person from your agency that has those rights needs to be given access by us. So that's why I need that email. So keep track of these videos. What I want to do right now is real quickly show you real quickly. I'm not even, there's much more detail on the CYEP adding an employer and customer for worksite placement, but I am going to show you very quickly how to add the step. So for this particular customer that I just added, we would go to, after their progress eligibility and items are added, we would go to their career plan. We would set a goal. So I'm going to add a goal, and it's going to be obtain permanent employment. What category would be career plan? It's going to be a short-term goal. It's going to be not started right here. Now, these employments are supposed to be permanent. It's not supposed to be a 90 days and done. It's supposed to be permanent employment. We're going to go to the build a plan. We're going to click on system generated service recommendations. We're going to filter category by employment. We're going to, it hasn't filtered yet. We're going to then select, oh, it hasn't filtered yet. Why haven't you filtered yet? All right, let me see. Oh, start permanent employment as part of this program. We add that step. Once we have that step added, we go down to the bottom, click the pencil, add and edit. And you will have already added the employers through the worksite placement staff. You're not going to add the employer here. You're going to find all of your employers. You're going to add them all at one time through the worksite placement. Then you pick a goal, obtain permanent employment, and say that this person went to the, let's pick one on a different page. He went to Do Art Differently light truck driver. So I add it from here because the employment option is already in there. It puts in information. We fill in what the minimum wage for placement is, and it might be $12. I know minimum wage went up in Cook County. Hourly wage for placement is going to be $12. You're subsidizing $7.75, and once you hit enter, it tells what the employer's match is. Is the position full-time or part-time? It can be part-time. They started it. This is also where you would put them on hold or inactive if something happens like an emergency of some sort. So they started it. The date that they started maybe was yesterday. Their end date is not happening yet. Their weekly hours is going to be 15. It's not WIOA funded. One of the performance Items is linked to whether or not you're addressing issues that they had. And this customer had limited work experience, but he didn't mark it. So you have to have one of these reasons addressed. Update customer service. Once you update the customer service, it gives you your follow-up checklist, the 30, 60, 90, 180, and 270. Once you hit those dates, you will be able to mark the box, and then you can put a case note in to update what was happening with that customer and whether or not you have pay stubs to supplement the opportunity that the customer has already worked. All right, so that's a high level, real fast reason and how to go through this. Do I have any questions from anybody about adding the service on the career plan? All right, I've got a couple of people that joined the webinar. So who is, showed up. Hi, Ladon. And then who else showed up that I don't have listed? APAC. APAC is Austin People's Action Center. All right. Any questions from anybody? All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate the time you took to keep yourselves informed and up to date. And we will talk to you next week with updates to the progress page. Everybody have a very happy and safe 4th of July. And if you get to have a 4-day weekend, enjoy the time off and the rest. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.